using. So if you have a different way of approaching it, feel free to use that. One of the chairs said that they will look at all of the 2018, and then if people propose changes to it from their committee, they'll handle it that way. So these are all resources for you, and you get to choose how you want to handle it. We've tried to make everything available, but not everything was made available to us in a way that we could do it. Some of this because it's only been, what, 2 weeks since some of the SDs met.
Most of them.
And we usually have 2 or 3 months to get resolutions in and put them in a document, and we didn't have that. And I'm saying we, but that would never have been me anyway. I started the process where we have our meeting today, and I sit down at the computer and do whatever you say. So than others. So incomplete to me, and you should have my depending on what you get to me.
Okay. Ma'am, I don't mean to put you on the spot with this, but from Senate District 8, we noticed that none of our approved planks were included. We're showing 0.
So that was one of, you're a large, and you handled the whole
Correct.
platform. That happened with mine as well. I had access to mine, so I put mine in. Tom collected a lot of the SDs. I don't know if it's one of yours or not, and created an additional spreadsheet for us that contains those. They didn't put them in to the spreadsheet for us to use, and we didn't find that out until late Saturday night.
Can you be more specific? Because I need to respond back. So I'm on the spot with my folks back home.
Right.
And this is not your, I'm not
So-
blaming you. I just want to put out there for everybody to know. Our entire, committee met in March, hours and hours to work on this.
I lost a night of sleep over this because
so what do I tell them?
if you can get a copy of your entire thing, I can make that available as an additional resource for all of the committees. And that would be useful to do, because much of the work that happens on working on it is in these large SDs who go through the entire platform and spend weeks doing that, and then they produce an entire thing. And this year, as an innovation, we kept the strikeouts and underlines to show the difference between the original platform, so that would be an easy way to make changes. And just because they did that, they got nothing represented, and so we're working on that.
Tag along with what you said. I'm in 21. Ours, I cursory checked, I saw it they made it, but one of the counties didn't make it in our. So one of the counties of the 4 or 5 that are in SD 21, I got hard copy.
Okay, if we can make, I don't know what kind of copying ability we have, but if we could make hard copies of that for all of the committee members, then we have that as an additional resource too, and I would really
My
appreciate it.
SWC representative said we can't
do what you can. So,
Last question, is there somebody here on staff that we can provide this to make the copies for everybody?
Karen is Mark Durazio's secretary, so I will
Sorry.
refer to her, and she may be going to James Dickey's secretary to get that kind of thing done. But that will be the process. So if you have something like that, yes, please add those resources. It breaks my heart that all of that work would not be represented.
I would recommend that we use the numbering system from the old platform. But can you give us some guidance on what we do if we're going to add a new platform item for a numbering system?
If you want to know where it's going to be placed, one way we can do it for now is to number it with the plank number above it and then put an A, and that tells us we want to put this new plank below number 68 or whatever. So 68A, and if there's more than one, 68A, 68B.
Okay. All right.
So we can do that, and that will be temporary until we manage to get through our committee as a whole on Wednesday. When we start again on Thursday, there will be a whole new numbering system, because then we're working on the 2020 platform. Some numbers may change, may stay the same, but you can count on them changing. Titles will stay the same unless you change them.
Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. At this time, I'd like to introduce our state chairman, James Dickey. You know, the times that we were in, and I have the opportunity to work with him at the SREC. I have seen him the leadership that he has shown us has just been phenomenal, and to help us through some of that. So I would like for him to address the committee at this time. And Chairman Dickey.
It's the first time I actually enjoy wearing a mask. I got some, had some fun. I had some fun with that, especially in South Austin. First of all, I want to say a very sincere thank you to every one of you serving on the temporary committee. I served on the temporary committee for rules in 2016, the last time I was allowed to serve on a committee, and it was an honor and a privilege and an endurance test. So thank you all for being willing to do it. Especially this year, and especially this time, we are all facing a lot of challenges. Coronavirus and the response to it have given us all a range of suboptimal choices. Just like our friends and neighbors in Texas are dealing with challenges that none of us wished for, none of us would have wanted, and none of us would have planned for, we at the party are also dealing with challenges none of us would have wished for, none of us would have wanted, none of us planned. But you all being here today, serving on this committee over the next couple of days, you show that we can move forward and that we still will move forward. I heard this morning from the Lieutenant Governor, who said that he wishes all of us well in our efforts at this as we work on this. He did say to keep in mind, if you will, that they are having to cut down their activities a lot. It is normal to have 95 to 100 interim committee hearings for the legislature. This fall, they are currently planning about 15 instead of those 95 to 100. So dramatically reduced legislative activity. No one, him, me, anyone else included, knows what the impact that will be on the legislative session. I'm not sure they'll be able to resist still filing 6,000 bills, but they might. Who knows? As you guys do your work, focus on what you always have focused on. The clear messages we get from our delegates and the responsibility we have to advance our cause. Because it is those principles that you all are fighting for here on the platform that build the future that is as successful as it must be, so that we can continue to elect folks who will then implement those causes and then have a future more successful for future generations. Done right, it really is a positive cycle, and you guys are a key part of it. Now, it is rumored, and I can't vouch for it, but it's rumored But Abraham Lincoln once said that if I were going to cut down a tree, I would spend the first 50 minutes sharpening the axe and then be more successful chopping down the tree. I would suggest that you all take a little bit of time this morning to make sure that you sharpen your axe. One of the things we promised to everyone is that your work in real time would be available and visible to folks. We said you all would be working off Google Docs. We said your list of submitted and worked on items would be visible to everyone. There is a Google Doc that has everything that's been submitted, a canonical Google Doc that has everything in it. If you all will take a little bit of time and go through all of that and fill in the category column. And you can have as many categories as you want, you can describe them any way you want. But if you fill in the category column on last year's platform and on the newly submitted ones, we have a script that will automatically divide up all of the submissions from every SD by category, and then you can divide up the categories any way you want among your subcommittees. So I would suggest that you all work on together, and one of the benefits, there are two big benefits of the Google Docs. One, it is utterly transparent. Everybody can watch it anyway. Two, it tracks every change. So if we need to back something up or revert back out of something, we can do that, right? And three, it is a single canonical document, right? We don't have to worry about, do you have the latest copy or do I have the latest copy? Is it the printed copy? Does it match up? So I would strongly suggest that you guys take a few minutes and sharpen your axe. It will make you a lot more productive and a lot more smooth.
Take all the funds. She will help with the documentation of putting the stuff into the computer and just about anything that needs to be done. Are there any other questions for Linda? Linda, is there anything that you need to brush on?
Question?
Yes, I was like, we have a hard time getting you all back here. Okay, we have a hard time getting you all back here. I was wondering if maybe we could get a microphone up there so we can hear you all.
We have made that request, and we're not sure when that's going to happen. But we appreciate that. Is under work. Thank you.
So before you start, I will send you one more, you committee chairs, I will send you one more spreadsheet that Tom Novus produced for us that contains many of the larger SDs. Maybe not all of them. So if you've brought yours, then get those copies to Karen and we'll add those as resources. So you have the trouble that we had with the Google Sheets document that is available online is that when we put in anything that contains strikeouts and underlines to show changes from the original platform, it removed all of the formatting. That's why, and some of them didn't get put in at all, or they got put in the entire thing as one cell. There were troubles with that. That's what we're dealing with. So the documents that I will be using will be on OneDrive, which is available and workable by multiple people at the same time. And when we do our meetings publicly, they will also be live streamable. So we are trying to deal with those issues. Okay.
Thank you, Linda. I'd like to go ahead and introduce the other members of the editorial staff. Yvonne Ontiveros, will you stand up, please, Yvonne? Thank you. She will be working with the committee. Cynthia Brutrid, where's Cynthia? How you doing, Cynthia? Karen Marshall, she is over taking your money for lunch. Phil Seville, another one of our editorial, and Judy Staples. She is not here today. She'll be with us tomorrow.
Oh, was she? She was sick Saturday, so I thought we lost her.
Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll briefly go over the schedule. After we're finished here, within the next few minutes, after we're finished, we're going to go over how we will debate issues and how we will run the committee. Starting today, all the subcommittees are going to meet as soon as we adjourn here in the room. And dinner will be, the dinner break will be from 7 to 8 p.m. and dinner will be brought to you, whatever you put on your meal. We want you to be done with your work by 9:30 p.m. tonight so that the editors can finish up their work. Tomorrow morning, you will meet at your same subcommittee room. You will go directly there with your editor. The editor will go over the information with you. We will make sure that it's the way that the subcommittee wanted. If there needs to be a vote because of some changes in the grammar that are unclear, then the committee will address it at that time. You will have 45 minutes to an hour to do that. And then after that, we will go to our second subcommittee hearing tomorrow. And then that second subcommittee will work until 10:30 or 11 o'clock, or this hopefully not that long. And you will do the work. Wednesday morning, you'll go back to your subcommittee room. You will take care of any kind of grammar, any kind of questions that come up. The committee will only vote on those things in question to make sure that there's clarity, and then those will all be downloaded onto the computer, and then we will meet here Wednesday as a whole to do the work of the convention. In all of your packets, or in all that was emailed out, we have a proposed committee rules. Do I hear a motion to accept the 2020 platform proposed committee rules?
I'd like to make a motion that we accept those rules.
Okay, Mr. Dunham,
Second.
do we have a second? Mr. Alvarez, second?
Mr. Chairman, I do wish to add a 14th rule that motions for the previous question are allowed. That helps us with the party rules.
Okay, that is not in order at this
Okay.
time. And